We'd like to thank you for watching LivingStrongTV.com. We would also like to take a moment to give you an opportunity to become a partner and sow a seed into our ministry. In order to sow a seed, you can click on the donation tab, or if you choose to mail your seed, you can send it to P.O. Box 363, Ridgeland, South Carolina 29936. The information is also located on the screen. Please make all checks and money orders payable to Whosoever Will Outreach Ministries. Once again, thank you for your support and becoming a partner with Living Strong. May you continually be blessed.
Well, hello and hello again, and welcome to another edition of the Living Strong Television Network broadcast. I'm your host, guest speaker, Prophet Scotty Lee Johnson. Fast 30 minutes is starting right now. Call a friend, call a neighbor, let them know. Once again, Living Strong is on. You can't go wrong when you're watching and living strong. Now, we've got to look at the essence of all things that are taking place on today. President of the United States spoke, and not only did he speak, but he spoke with the tenacity of urgency. This is an urgency emergency that's in the midst of an ongoing crisis, and that crisis is called denial. There's a denial of truth, there's a denial of justice, and in the midst of it all, we're seeing God's hand move like never before. So now what is happening is that there is an awakening hour, and this is the hour that is coming forth to benefit the plan and the will of God for all mankind. Now you must understand, the Bible declares that there will come a time in which nations shall rise against nations. People against people, and kindred against kindred. Now, why would this be so? The reason why is because of an injustice that is based upon a denial of truth that is coming forth to break through every wall and every barrier that have been set up from the founding fathers until today's time, based upon the equality of all men. Now you must understand that true freedom reigns within every man's heart, and justice calls out from the north, the south, the east, and the west. And in the midst of it all, the highs and the lows, the valleys and the peaks, the mountains and the rivers, the seas and the oceans cannot contain the level of truth that is hidden from man, even from the beginning of mankind. And this truth is only revealed through the knowledge and the wisdom of God himself. For all that are willing to take a plunge, I'm ready to take you there. The Bible declares in Isaiah chapter number 58, and you must remember, we're talking about the continuations, treasures of the heart, in relations to life. Now there is so much that is taking place. But the reason why I am so excited is because the Lord is wielding his will. And he's allowing each and every one of us to come to a level of truth based upon the fact that each and every one of us have been given a treasure. Now, you must remember that each and everything that you're seeing that's taking place, even in the news, even in broadcast, even in the economy, even in the world, even in people's lives, you are ahead of the time, Living Strong viewers. My Accolades unto you is this, is that as you continue to watch, you will see more talking about the poor. You will see more coming forth talking about the fact that God is concerned about every human being on the face of this earth. You will also see more coming forth, much as I don't want to say it, about hatred and racism. Everything is following up, and that word that you're getting from Living Strong has got you ahead of the time. Hey, we getting ready to rock and roll. Tighten up the boat, get your chips in your dips, and don't bend your hip. Let's move this and let's flow with the river, because the Bible declares in verse number 1, cry loud, spare not. First of all, I've got to have somebody that's going to open their mouth and speak out and not spare any level of truth. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet, okay, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob, Jacob, their Saan's sins. So the sins of this nation is that we have dealt with for so long a denial. And this denial is the fact that the have will always have, the have not will always have not, and in the midst of it all, this God that we claim that we serve, Jesus the Christ, man, old man, is watching everything that is going on. And if you're wondering, let's go deep. Take me there. Scuba diving gear. 27, not 25. Take it to 30. If you think that the hurricanes and the tornadoes and the airplane crashing and all of the strange phenomena are happening and the forest fires for no reason, you got another thing coming. They are happening because God is saying, oh guys, you're going to keep treating each other bad? Work together to put out a fire. You're going to keep treating each other bad? Work together to go to the Philippines. You're going to keep treating each other bad? Work together to restore what the tornado tore up. If we learn to work together, then you will see less of nature interacting with mankind. And if you think that you're living in a balloon effect, get ready, because I surely am going to bust your bubble. This life has no games to play no more. Tick-tock, the game is locked. The mouse ran up the clock. And whosoever, let them take a shoe and knock them black and blue. Crazy stuff. Now watch this. Yet they seek me daily. Look at this. They're living in sin. They're living in the wealth. They're living in the treasures of wickedness that profited nothing, but they seek God daily. Amazing. And delight to know my ways. All in church on Sunday, but giving hell on Monday. As a nation that did righteous, oh yes we did, because we freed and said to slaves, you can't be slaves no more. God don't want you to be that. We went through that, but yet there's a high-tech movement that is taking place. And this movement is so dangerous because this is dealing with entities and demonic forces that have been sent forth from the abyss. Hell have leased its fury. And the reason why hell have released it is because it knows that God is on the battlefield and mankind's time is running out. And so hell is saying, what we going to do is expose everything about what is happening. You've got to remember that with what God is doing is far more precious than silver and gold. I got a ton of notes here and don't know where to start. And the Lord is saying, start where you are and keep talking to my people and show them my word, because where their treasure is, that's where their heart will be also. But the Lord is allowing you to know tonight that no longer, oh God, am I supposed to say it? No longer am I going to allow government to rule by their own jurisdiction. He's saying to tell you that government and law must rule by truth and not injustice, because the rulers are not supposed to be a terror to good work. You can hunt down men in the street. You can lock up people falsely for 25 years and find out that a DNA set them free. And hope that you're going to go to heaven. My Lord. But yet you kill your brother and say, am I my brother's keeper? Where is my hat? I don't have my hat tonight. Let me do it again. My hat is off to the Pope. Because anytime you see a leader secretly moving, you see, you can say it's a game, you can say it's a farce, you can call it what you want. But whenever God touches any man's heart, oh, there comes that anointing, glory, 12 stages, release the 12, the 12 disciples anointing. Anytime God touches any man's heart to prepare a people to return unto him and show love unto them, God is getting that people and those persons ready for his return. He's getting us ready. And you say, oh, of course he hadn't come. They're still on the yacht trying to catch a red snapper. Look at this. Wherefore, let me look at verse number 2. And forsook, you got righteousness, and forsook not the ordinances of their God. They ask of me the ordinances of justice. Now listen to this. They're asking for justice, but watch. They take delight in approaching to God. Every synagogue, they approach God. Sunday on church. Wherefore have we fasted? For what reason have you fasted? You got folks that are fasting right now for immigration rights. Now that is something so simple, but they got to fight about it. And let me get on this right now. Remember when I told you earlier that it's so very simple. If they would just do, and somebody said, well, don't get too political here. Well, I'm going to be a little bit if I want to. Thank you, sir, ma'am. If they would take that 10% and give it to God, this nation wouldn't have to worry about being in debt and talking about raising. I wrote something and I said this, and what I wrote, I wrote it before they said it, and then they're coming back on television saying it. And if they just go ahead, minimum wage $10. Not only that, 10%, $10, 90% minus that 10%, $10 minimum wage. If you gave that to the people, that will equal out to the tithe that they is supposed to give God. So that will not only equal to the tithe, but that will equal to man, and that will equal to nation. And across the board, God will get his, man will get his, and you will get yours. But is so hard. Because we got to talk about making folks legal citizens that's going out there picking up cabbages and broccoli and cauliflower and spinach and thank God for mustard greens and collard greens out the field to feed us, and yet we're going to argue about whether they are. I'm done. What? It is so easy and so simple. And then this, I thank God that the president had the tenacity to come out, even in his hurt and even in his pain, to debunk and to remove and not to kowtow to the enemy's plan based upon God's will for his life. And I thank God that he stood in the midst of an emergency, to tell the people, even while I'm filling the pot, they're eating out of the pot that the president is feeling and feeling, and he's releasing it. And while they're eating out of the pot, they're taking the gold and the silver and the treasures and the precious stone. Wall Street is not hurting. Stock market is not hurting. Main Street is not hurting. You're hurting. That's just hurting. We talk about jobs. Have you ever seen anything made in the United States? Find that, send it to me. The only thing that's made in the United States is a flower. The only thing that's made in the United States is a tree. The only thing that's made in the United States is what? Well, we got some stuff made in the United States. You just need to go to Sears. Thank God. At least we know what God is saying. We don't value our own people to be productive enough to produce what we need when we know that what we make is the best there is in any world. So how can any other country make anything better than what we make when we take pride in ourselves? You know how hard it is for you to sell a cake. You know how hard it is for you to sell a chicken dinner, and your macaroni and cheese got to beat everybody else. And don't bring me no cornbread if it's not cooked like Mama Sarah's. So what we do is value who we are, but others don't value who you are. Now, we've got to move on because there's a whole lot that I'm looking at on tonight. Woo, Jesus. Now, let me say it because you've got to remember that what we're dealing with here is solutions and not just problems. Now, I've got to read a little bit more, but I'm not going to be able to read all of this. So I'm going to have to jump because you got people that are fasting so that the laws, thank you, sir, will begin to favor them and begin to help them and honor them in ways that is called to respect them. This is why it's very important for you, no matter who you are and where you come from, to remember that your seed not only produces for your children, but it produces for your name. And there's a lot of people that are watching that won't give because they think somebody else is giving. But when you give, you live. When you move, he moves. And when you move, he chooses. Do not allow your seed to remain stagnant by becoming the taker. And you say, well, Prophet Johnson, well, how do I know that other folks ain't giving? The reason you know other folks ain't giving because you ain't giving nothing. You see? So when you sow, then others move, and God calls an avalanche to take place. There are people in position that are destroying what is happening like never before in this nation. When you look at this, you'll see that there was something spoken about equality. Not only in this equality, there is no reason for no one to sit back and fight everybody that is sick getting help. If that is not the craziest thing we have ever heard in all the days of our life. You got folks that will pass by a dog on the street, feel sorry for a dog and take him home. You got folks that would watch a buzzard crash into a car and take him to the vet. But at the same time, you don't even want to help a man that is made in God's image. When you think about this, and you get through cutting through your cupcake, and you see that the cream inside ain't the color that you thought it was, then don't get mad at me when you vomit up what you ate. The Bible declares in verse number 4, behold, you fast for strife, debate, and smite with the fist of wickedness. In other words, you got the wrong intentions. You shall not fast as you do this day to make your voice to be heard on high. In other words, you got folks that are saying, we're going to do it just because we want something out of it. But you got folks that are doing it for the right way. Watch this. Is it such a fast that I've chosen? God is saying this nation is hungry for the treasure in relations to life, but it won't let it come forth. How can anybody do anything when you got opposition that is trying to stop it? I told you, he'll be shut down. The president will be locked down. There's only one solution and one solution only, and that's called the house. If he don't take the house, he might as well pack it up and go home. The reason why is because how can you advocate doing something when you can't do nothing except by executive order? It is the stupidity of mankind to take away SNAP, saying we want to stop because we think folks want a hand out. People don't want a hand out. People want to reach for God's hands that is up. And in the midst of it all, God will bless the House so that the House will gain the Congress and the Senate, and that will equal the jobs, and that will equal the future, and the president will be able to do everything that God have ordained him to do. Why? Because he spoke to the future of the truth of the ideals and the solutions that equal success in the life of the people. And this will be the success. And you got to understand that when this take place, that last 2 years of him being in government, that does not equal just his presidency. That equals you. And when you understand you, then you're going to understand why he's got to have the complete totality of everything. And if you don't vote, you don't move, he don't win, they don't win, it's done. Prophet Johnson, I don't know if I believe that. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. Because the attack on the poor, the attack on the underprivileged, America is like this. It's like an airplane that's in turbulent waters. Air rather, over the waters. You see? And it's rocking. And God is saying, steady it, steady it. The enemy is trying to crash this thing. He's trying to flip it. But what God wants to do is bring balance. Not only to this nation, but all nations. You say, Prophet Johnson, there are nations for worse. Listen to me. Those nations have paid with a hell that they'll never be able to pay back ever again. You got people that have died in Africa. You got people that have died in nations of India, all over the world, like never before. Keep building your cities and your sand beaches upon the oceans of the sea. Put them there and continue. Because you'll see, not by God's grace and His mercy, then you'll understand His power. Don't build a city upon sand when you don't know the Creator called the rock. And I ain't talking about the actor. Listen to this. We are getting to the good part, okay? The Bible declares, is not this the fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow his head as a bulrush, to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? And wilt thou call this fast and an acceptable day of the Lord? Watch this to the Lord. God said, is not this the fast that I've chosen, to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo heavy burdens? Listen to the word of the Lord. And to let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke. The Lord is saying, you best pay attention and don't take those folks that are fasting for granted. Coded immigrants that are fasting, you are coded tonight. The Lord is saying, this is the undo, the heavy burden, to break every yoke and to let the oppressed go free. And I know that the nation of America, oh God, the oppression is about to loose. Yes, they're hunting your sons. They're hunting your daughters. How is it, God, I cannot let me chase it? No, please let me chase the rabbit for one moment. I can't. Verse number 7, is it not to deal thy bread to the hungry, and that thou bring the poor that are cast out of thy house? The poor that are cast out of thy house. What house? What house? The poor that is cast out of the house. The house that has the ability to do its job, the White House. The poor that are cast out of the house. What's that? Government. Look at this. When thou seest the naked, that thou cover him, and that thou hide not thyself from thine own flesh. You covered. But there's one that is naked. You say, Prophet Johnson, nobody's walking around naked in the street. Oh, yes, they are. There are naked people everywhere, but we're overlooking them. And we're overlooking it because of the fact that we have been connected to a society that have for long forgotten the God that gave us grace. America is the greatest nation there is. There is no other place that I'd want to live. You got the Colorado Mountains. You got the Andes. You got the Rockies. You got so much that is in this nation. You got great cities everywhere. You got Disney World. You got so much to look at and to thank God for. You got rivers and streams. Oh, America the beautiful. We have 50-something states that we can go to, and the sports are spectacular. The food is great, the knowledge and the wisdom, and all the ancients set up on this world, and they blessed it. Because we were a nation that was willing to help every people from every country, from every kindred. And God said in the book of Revelation, John said, I see a number that no man can number. Not only the 12 tribes of Israel, but a people from every nation, from every tongue, from every kindred. And that is America, y'all. 80% of the gospel goes out of here. And I'm only about 0.1%. Pray for me. Are you ready to get blessed? That ain't enough time. Are you ready to get blessed? Look at this. Verse number 8. Then, look at this. Then shall thy light break forth as the morning. If we do this, America, older nation, if we do this, other people, if you give, if you help, if you sow in the Living Strong, 50 people need to sow a seed of $50. You need to do that. Don't argue with me. Don't debate it. No, you ain't going to move because your ATM machine is broke, right? You need to do that because the Lord is saying, I don't even want to bother with it. Not now. No, not now. No. I don't want to even ask. If they give anything, they give it. If they don't, they don't. This is one of those nights that God is saying, I am literally doing it for you. Look at this. He says, I got to hurry. Then shall thy light break forth as the morning, and thy health, what health? Health care shall spring forth speedily. Why do you think it's in the Bible, people? It's right in your Bible. And the righteous shall go before thee, and the glory of the Lord shall reward. But I want to get to this because I'm not going to be able to finish tonight. Then shalt thou call, and the Lord shall answer. We're going to call God as a nation. He's going to answer as a people. Thou shalt cry and shall say, here am I. And if thou take away from thee, from the midst of thee, the yoke, the putting forth of the finger and speaking vanity, if you stop pointing fingers at each other, God, by time, if we stop blaming each other, God, you got a Democrat, you got a Republican, you got an independent, and they pointing finger at each other. Black, white, brown, yellow, everybody pointing fingers. See? No. Leave me alone. Listen. And in verse number 10, and if I'm going to finish at 12, I promise. And if thou draw out thy soul to the hungry, Pope, my hat is off. To the Pope. And satisfy the afflicted soul. Help them. Then shall thy light rise in obscurity. In the midst of a dark time, America, we will do it. In thy darkness be as the noonday. I'm going to take your midnight and turn it to a buffet. And the Lord shall guide thee continually. Oh my God, this is why the enemy is so mad. Listen, don't even listen to the word impeach. That is the dumbest word on the face of this earth. Lord, let me tell them now. They don't want to impeach the president. What did I write right here, Lord? Let me say it. It's not about impeaching him. What they want to do, since they can't solve the problem, they want to do much more than impeach. Much more. Yeah, I know. But that's it. And in the midst of it all, the Bible declares that he shall guide you continually. Now, we're going to pick this up tomorrow night. And somebody's saying, Prophet Johnson, well, what this all about? Remember, we're going to pick this up tomorrow night. My time is up. I'm way over my time. Okay? But always remember, I'll see you on tomorrow night, prophetic release. Always remember, whatever you do, live to love and love to live. Y'all have a good night, okay? Bye now.
We'd like to thank you for watching LivingStrongTV.com. We would also like to take a moment to give you an opportunity to become a partner and sow a seed into our ministry. In order to sow a seed, you can click on the donation tab, or if you choose to mail your seed, you can send it to P.O. Box 363, Ridgeland, South Carolina 29936. The information is also located on the screen. Please make all checks and money orders payable to Whosoever Will Outreach Ministries. Once again, thank you for your support and becoming a partner with Living Strong. May you continually be blessed. We'd like to thank you for watching LivingStrongTV.com. We would also like to take a moment to give you an opportunity to become a partner and sow a seed into our ministry. In order to sow a seed, you can click on the donation tab, or if you choose to mail your seed, you can send it to P.O. Box 363, Ridgeland, South Carolina 29936. The information is also located on the screen. Please make all checks and money orders payable to Whosoever Will Outreach Ministries. Once again, thank you for your support and becoming a partner with Living Strong. May you continually be blessed.
And my hope is built in you, Lord. I'm looking back, I'm moving forward, not gonna learn. And my hope is built in you, Lord. I'm looking back, I'm moving forward, not gonna let my past stand in my way. I won't, and my hope